So based on the question I ask, it summons different entities.
That's who gathers. That's who gathers. And the clarity of your question brings forth the clarity of the answer. Yeah. That's why we wanted you to be real time with us as we were having the conversation, because you were taking us to places that we had not been before, and we wanted you to come with us.
One other question about hauntings. People talk about sometimes they'll come into a room and things are misplaced or moved around, and they attribute it to hauntings. Are there...
Most of it we attribute to bad memory. And to the cooperative universe that always assists you. In other words, when you decide that something is lost, you can't find it even though it's right there. And then when you get back into the vibration that allows you to see it, then you're sure that someone has brought it in and put it there. There's more of that going on than anything. But in fairness, everything is vibrational, and everything that you see in this physical world is an extension of that vibration. And so this non-physical energy that is focused does have the ability to, right before your eyes, move things, because everything is vibrational. So, hauntings, give us an example. Esther always tells Jerry that she will haunt him. And he always tells her, you already do.
This is more of my friend's question, so I don't have a specific instance. Of course, we've seen things on television.
Here's the most common.
Is that part of our creation? For example, if somebody goes out to look for hauntings, they'll find them because they're creating.
Well, here's the thing. Everything is about vibration, and vibration is being interpreted in many different ways. We've already talked about the real life reality that you want to call reality, which is your interpretation of vibration. Your eyes interpret vibration, and that's why you see. Your ears interpret vibration, and that's why you hear. And so you are interpreting energy into what you see. Esther, as she is receiving us here, is receiving blocks of thought. We are sort of downloading big blocks of thought. She gets them at an unconscious level, sorts them out, and finds word equivalent to best describe the block of thought that she's receiving. So Esther is a very good verbal translator of this vibration. But there are others who are visual translators of vibration, and they are those who have visions, who see things, and many of you do too. The thing that is important to understand, whether you are verbally translating, Esther is more auditory than visual, whether you are verbally translating or whether you are visually translating, or both, in any case, you are receiving the vibration that you must be somewhere in the vibrational vicinity of the vibration in order to interpret it. In other words, Esther has discovered that if she meditates, or if she's joyful, or if she's basking, that she's much more up to speed with what Abraham is, and so the flow of Abraham is much more comfortable and much more emphatic or precise or beneficial if she's up to speed with us. So interpreting energy simply means being in the vibrational vicinity and then interpreting in some way, visually or auditorily. So now let's talk about vibration other than the vibration that we are offering. In other words, we are a stream of consciousness, and when Esther or any of you get in the vicinity of what we are, you have that knowing. In other words, we've been talking about that all day here today. You are knowing what we are talking about and surprising yourself, aren't you? In other words, you're right up to speed. Do you hear how you laugh just at the right moment? Do you hear how you're getting the subtle nuances of what we are offering? You're up to speed with us, or that would not be happening. So you're in the vibrational vicinity of that which we are. Now, Esther makes it easier for you because she's speaking it out loud, and you are commonly or collectively focused, which makes it easier still. But just the same, you are in the vibrational vicinity, or you would not be getting it. So every thought that has ever been thought still exists. Thoughts don't go away. Vibrations don't go away. And law of attraction gathers those vibrations into what you might call rivers or streams. And so you could pick up on a river. This is a powerful stream of consciousness that we are projecting here, which is easy for Esther and some of you to pick up on. But there are streams of consciousness that are the spin-off of man's conscious thought that are also easy for you to pick up on if you're in the vibrational vicinity. So that's where all that evil haunting stuff comes from. That's, in other words, as man worries about this and worries about that, as you watch Steven Spielberg movies or Stephen King's movies, as you watch that stuff, there's a coalescing of all of that, and it is perfectly logical that someone in the vibrational vicinity of some of that unwanted stuff could be close enough to the vibration of it that they could begin to interpret it visually. Jerry and Esther, one of the very first people that they met as they began to do this work, a wonderful woman who lived in Dallas. And Jerry and Esther stayed at her home, in fact, when they went up to do the seminars. She heard them on one of the few radio shows that they ever did, or that we ever did, and came to the first seminar that they conducted in Dallas. And she told them the story later when she became a good friend of theirs, that as she was driving to the seminar, after having heard us on the radio, she is saying right out loud as she is driving in her automobile, "All right, Abraham, are you angel or devil?" Which sort of gives you an idea of what was going on with her at the time. She did not understand that when we emphatically say there is no source of evil, there's just allowing who you really are or not. But she was still in that place where she was looking for good and evil, hauntings and blessings, sort of thing. And so as we were coming into the conversation, Esther was sitting at the time, not standing. And she asked the question as she was sitting there in the room. And as we came to join the party, in Esther's experience, we were silent for an inordinate amount of time. In fact, Esther began to feel uncomfortable because she was used to us opening her eyes and getting right to it. But instead, we opened her eyes and looked at this woman, and the woman said the entire room filled with big angel wings. Now, we projected to her an answer to her question, and in her ability to translate vibration visually, she did. So, it's in the eye of the beholder. In other words, you see what you are vibrationally tuned to, but more important, you see what you are expecting. An expectation is a vibrational practice, and anything is possible. We just want you to know that there is only a source of well-being, and that this source of well-being is dominant. And if you're picking up on any of that other stuff, it's just because you're outside the vortex on the raw and ragged edge. You got a pretty good vibration going, and all that stuff's floating around out there, congealing and able to pick up. In other words, transmitting and receiving mechanisms. It's all that it is.